My name's Kyro. I'm a sponsored skateboarder from the San Francisco Bay Area, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a front side 180. So if you guys haven't noticed, we're trying to update all of the tutorials and make 2020 versions of them to answer any questions that anybody might have. So if there's anything that I did not cover in this tutorial or any extra help that you need, leave it in the comments below. We'll go through, we'll make some more videos. We got all kinds of resources. We're trying to teach the entire world how to ride a skateboard. And there's never been more eyeballs on skateboarding than ever with the 2021, we hope it will happen then, Olympics, with skateboarding going into it. So there's an incredible amount of people learning how to skateboard right now, which is awesome. So let's be a really good community to new people learning, and let's let them know this is a fun thing that everyone can do and it's super fun. Great, so the frontside 180, let's get right into it. First things first on the frontside 180 is the foot position. Your front foot is gonna be right there, very, very similar to an ollie. Your back foot is gonna be like that. The ball of your toe is gonna be right there, ready to pop. Very interesting thing. I don't know if you watched my slow motion ollie tutorial, but it's a very fascinating motion that occurs with the back foot. Your back foot dips down by the motion of your ankle. This is one thing that I find beginner skateboarders are doing wrong a lot, is they're pushing their whole leg. Like the motion of their whole leg doesn't need to go. You do bend down and pop up, but when you pop, it's your ankle pops the board. So your ankle pops down, and then you basically do an ollie. Your upper body, your head and the shoulders have to be turned beforehand, and then you just turn your upper body and then follow the motion around with your legs. So it's kind of like this. You kind of pop up, drag your front foot, which brings the board up into the air, and then your back leg starts coming forward, and your back foot will sort of push that board around, get the 180 rotation, and then land it. So there's so many different ways that you could do a frontside 180. I tried to do every little variation of the trick so I can show you, and I think some of these ways will be really hard for beginners, and some beginners will be like, oh, that's how I learned how to frontside 180. It was super easy. So the first way that I want to cover is what we would call like super cheater frontside 180. This is not something that I would recommend doing, but any of this stuff, if it helps you learn, even if it helps you learn the frontside 180 to understand how that trick is done, I think it's worth mentioning here, and that's why I'm gonna do it. So this one, you see, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like an ollie, land on the nose, and then turn afterwards. So this takes some board control. Before you get into the frontside 180 at all, make sure you're riding your skateboard a lot. Be very, very, very comfortable on your board. Make sure you're comfortable with ollies. The ollie is definitely a precursor trick to this. But this little motion right here, it can help you learn the body motion, the upper body, which is key, key, key. I cannot explain to you how many skate supports I've seen people send in where they don't turn their upper body and they're just trying to turn their legs, and their body sort of like does like a half pretzel and twists up, and they can't get the rotation. Well, they can't get the rotation because they're not doing the full turn with their upper body, swinging their head and shoulders and bringing it around. So this one, it does take some board control because you have to ollie while turning your upper body, and then land, and then move your back foot and pivot around. Pivot is the correct term. So ollie up, land on that front, and then pivot around. So in order to do this, you have to have your upper bodies turned as you ollie, and then you pop up, and then you land and turn. I don't totally know how to describe this. I think some beginner skateboarders would be really good at that, and then other skateboarders have to get more advanced in their ability to control the board before they're able to pop up, land on the front, and then turn. For me, I do a lot of manual, so it's just sort of a natural thing to do. Another thing that's good about it is if you can only get the 90 rotation, you need to understand that that front truck, that's gonna be your pivot truck. So you could pop up, do a 90, land like that, and then turn. So the next way is sort of like It's sort of like a cheater-ish pop shove it way. It's where you just turn your upper body, your head and shoulders super fast. You just sort of like do a front shove and turn your body at the same time. The thing I love about skateboarding is that there's no like one exact way to do everything. Different skateboarders think about tricks differently. Some of them will think, oh, well, I got really good front shoves, so why don't I just do a front shove and turn my upper body? And other ones will think, well, I got a really good ollie, why don't I just do an ollie and turn my upper body and do a 180? That's the more common one, is the ollie 180. But this one, you see it, I'll do some very, very fast, very small ones. You just turn your upper body really fast, and then your legs follow as fast as you can. And it just basically goes like this: pop, turn, land. Just the tiniest little pop. But the board does go around. It's funny, I was teaching a beginner skateboarder how to do a 180, and he was doing 180s like this, and he learned it very fast. And I was like, whoa, that's something I've never thought of, because I only think to teach people, yes, do a ollie, then do the turn afterwards, like ollie turn. But you can sort of do this all in one rotation, I guess is the difference there, is it's just sort of like boom. You know, it's not necessarily like you do an ollie and then like a late 180. You do turn the whole way, but you'll see the difference. You can really, when you watch the video and you see me doing the differences, you can really see it. So this is like the theory of how you do the trick. Now, one thing that I love to tell people is that when you're learning how to skateboard, every day you go, if you progress just a little bit, just get a little bit better at something, that little bit better will turn into a little bit more and a little bit more. And then after a while, you'll be like, wow, I've gotten really good. I didn't even know what happened. You have to practice it a lot. You have to teach your muscles the muscle memory of these tricks. So in order to do that, there's these things that we call practice steps. I've been developing these practice steps over many years, taught tons of people how to skateboard using them. So the first one I'm going to show you right here is a practice step for your head and shoulders. So you're literally going to stand on your back foot, ball your foot, drag that front foot up the board while turning your head and shoulders. So you can crouch down, drag the foot, and turn the upper body. Just drag it, turn the upper body. This might seem like kind of a silly step, but trust me, do this until your muscles start to learn. Okay, we get the feeling of that. When you first start trying a new skateboard trick, everything is so foreign, and it becomes so difficult because you're not like, I can do this. I know how it feels to move my body in that position, if that makes sense. And then you land one, and then your muscle memory kicks in, and it's kind of like, okay, that wasn't so bad. So by doing these practice steps, you're getting that muscle memory, you're building that muscle memory. You're getting the motion with your front foot, you're getting the motion with your head and shoulders. The only thing I'm gonna say about this where it can be a bad thing is if you're doing the motion just a little bit incorrectly. So make sure you really watch what I'm doing here and do it exactly like that. Just repeat it over and over and over. And then once you got that, you're gonna put it all together. You're gonna ride. You can do this standing still too, but riding sometimes is a little bit easier, just a little bit of speed. You're gonna bend down. As you're going up, you're gonna turn your head and shoulders, your upper body, you're gonna turn it like that. Then you're gonna pop the board, do that ollie motion with your front foot, start bringing your back foot around, wait for the board to rotate as far as it's going to go, and then land and roll away, switch. You should ride your board switch, get used to riding switch, because you're gonna need to know that in order to roll away from the trick. So just roll around switch and just get used to that. It will help you out a great deal. Another little secret that I'm gonna give you guys for learning frontside 180s is it's often easier on a bank. And I'm gonna give you this little tip, because as you go up and you do a frontside kick turn, which looks just like this right here, the motion is very similar. So you ride up, you turn your upper body, turn your head and shoulders, just like we've been talking about, and then lift up on your front trucks and turn the nose of your board until it does a 180, put it down, and then roll back. And this way, you're not landing switch, you're actually going up regular, and you're riding down regular, because you're going up and down a bank. So that motion there on the bank can be helpful. It can be helpful as long as you're pretty good at riding the board and rolling on the board. You feel pretty solid on that. So you can try it on a bank first, see how that goes, work it on flat. Do the practice steps, just repeat them over and over and over and over again. Some of the things that can go wrong with this trick is not enough pop, you don't get the board fully rotated enough, which most of the time, almost 90% 90% of the time, I would say, just simply comes down to you're not turning your head and shoulders enough. The other 10% of the time, I would say your ollie is not good enough and you need to go back, get a little bit better at the ollie, work that over a little bit more, and then come back to the frontside 180. And then when you come back to it, work on the head and shoulder turn, just that, boop, popping it around. Once you got this trick, it is a pretty good one to take to obstacles. You just have to be very comfortable rolling away switch, because once you add some speed in, then you do it on a pyramid, do it on an A-frame, do it on whatever obstacle you want, but you do have to get pretty good rolling away switch. It is a good fun trick. It's kind of like once you learn how to ollie off things or ollie over an obstacle, it's a pretty easy next step to go, okay, I'm gonna do the same motion, the same ollie motion, except I'm gonna turn my upper body, my head and shoulders. I'm gonna have the board do a 180, and then you got a whole new trick in your bag, which is super, super, super awesome. For any of the beginners learning how to skate right now, I just wanna say you guys are amazing. Don't stop, don't give up. The hardest part of skateboarding is right at the beginning, and I would like to create a culture here within skateboarding where we really help and we foster new people coming into skateboarding. So guys, if you see somebody struggling at the skate park, give them a hand, give them a tip, help them out. Let them know we're here to help them, and that we hope that they learn how to do all of the skateboard tricks and they get really good and they just have a blast, because it is a really, really, really fun thing to learn how to do. If you guys want any other tutorials, leave it in the comments below. Let us know what you're having trouble with. If you have any questions, like I said, any questions are highly appreciated, because we will go through those and it'll help us to make the tutorials better and better and better. We're working on improving just like you guys are working on improving. So thank you so much for being here. You guys are amazing. Check out all those videos right there. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, and you, yes you, learn how to ride a skateboard. We got everything you need at brailleskateboarding.com.